So on this question, we're wanting to solve an x squared, or in this case, k squared, whatever, same thing, equation. So, and they want me to identify the different parts and then do the calculator part as well. Basically what this question is about is get the exact answer without the calculator and then use calculator. Okay, so let's do it. So how do you solve an x squared equation? You identify your A, your B, and your C, right? You got to have equal 0, but it already does have equal 0. Then you identify your A, B, and C. A is the number in front. B, now, what number is in front in the middle? Well, it's just a +1, right? And then C is the -9. So there's no number in front of a letter. We know it's invisible 1. Okay. So now plug that into the quadratic formula. All right, and so the quadratic formula says negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So that's negative, and plug in b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. So I'm going to plug this stuff in. Here we go. So b is 1. And there's 1 there. Minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is -9 all over 2. A is 3. Okay, so what do we get? Well, so we get -1 plus or minus 1. Now, watch your signs here carefully. Negative times positive times negative. So count your signs. 2 negatives, positive. So that's going to be 9 times 12, 90. That's going to be 108 all over 6. Like that. Okay. And so then, what is that? Well, that simplifies to be -1 plus or minus the square root of 109 all over 6. Okay. So there we go. So we simplified that as far. You can't break down that 109, right? You could try if you go over the side, do 109, but basically nothing goes into 109. It doesn't break down. So we're just done right there with the first part of the answer. So notice, see, let me grab this right here. Bring it right over here. They want us to say n plus or minus the square root of d over m. They're just making up letters. So basically the m is 6, the n is -1, and the d is the 109. It's the thing inside the square root, huh? So you see how I'm just identifying? I got my answer, I'm matching it up with n, d, and m, the format they told me. The n is -1. The d is the part inside the square root, which is 109. The m is the denominator, which is 6. So they just want me to write those in. And then, second part, they want me to get calculator answers. For example, they give a nice little example right here where they show what they're talking about right here. Like 3.25, 4.16. So I've got to do that. So now I'm going to take -1 minus the square root of 109 over 6 and -1. I'll change the color for clarity. -1 plus the square root of 109. So I separated the minus and the plus options, right? It doesn't matter what order. I did the minus first, then the plus the other way. It doesn't matter. So now hit the buttons on your calculator. Now, when you do this on your calculator, let me help with this. You have to make sure you hit the equal sign. Let me just say that. Hit the equal sign when you're done with the top before you do the bottom. So you go negative, that's the -1. So negative button is different than the subtraction button on your calculator. You have a subtraction button, which is between two numbers, and a negative button which has parentheses around it, which is on one number. I'll be glad to help you with your calculator. Let me know. Subtract the square root of 109, hit equals, and then divide by 6 equals like that. And you get your decimal. The other side, you get -1. Again, you got to do that minus sign. Plus square root 109 equals divided by 6 equals. So hit the buttons on your calculator. Get both of those. Let me do mine real quick on my calculator. So I'm getting, for this first one, negative 1.9067, and the other one, $1.5733. I think they said round to 2 places. Yeah, 2 decimal places. So this would then be negative 1.91. Remember rounding? You stop after 2 places. If the one after the wall is 5 or more, you round up. Comma, the other one stop after 2 places. The one after the wall is a 3, so you leave it. 1.57. There would be the 2 answers separated by comma. There we go.